What investments 5-10 years from now? What investment opportunities are you making now with the current environment thinking it would put you way ahead years from now? I have $80K in cash and waiting for some kind of collapse in some asset. I understand it's hard to time, but for now it helps me sleep at night knowing I can scoop up some assets when the time come or if. Did you have this money last year when the market tanked over 20 last year? Did you buy then? The thing is, when a crash actually happens, you will try to time it too. You'll wait for the bottom. Miss it. Call the recovery a bull trap and wait for it to drop more. Only to completely miss out on the recovery too. Don't try to time the market. Continuous investing over long periods is what you should do. Put the $80K into a balanced portfolio step by step. And don't follow the ideas from other comments to put it all into lithium. VTI. I invest into an all-world ETF for some years now. VTI. FXAIX. Patience can be a virtue in investing. Just ensure your cash doesn't lose value to inflation while waiting. Diversify and consider assets with growth potential even if there's no collapse. My friend's startup. Lots of talk about a recession coming up in the next year. Buy short-term bonds until it happens, then buy in on some ETFs. Right now I am mostly in fixed income assets, T-bills and the like, and using the interest to buy into ETFs tracking the US market, REITs, and foreign developed markets. My time horizon when I started this strategy was 5 years. IMHO, it is actually a good time to try to time the markets. I made my career in 2020 doubling down on crude oil equities after taking 50 losses by being too early. The remaining amount went 500,800 up, and the result was my portfolio quadrupling over 2 years. And octupling from its bottom. Hang around in cash making 5 for a while until something becomes obvious and then get in over time. Weekly buys of mostly QUU. Then Z, EEMV, GLOV, whatever the equivalent of the currency hedge you're from. I add some QCN because I'm Canadian. And some gold and Bitcoin because I like my food spicy. You can stick to the first 4. Waiting for an asset class to tank so that you can get a good buy opportunity is one of the biggest scams to yourself when it tanks. You'll think it'll tank further and miss the opportunity to buy before it starts going up again. If you want to buy something, just do it and forget about timing a good entry, TBH, or better still, get that money into DeFi smart vaults like Spool FI or Yearn FI and get better value for your assets. You're saying I know it's a bad to try and time the market. But I want to try and time the market. The market spends the majority of its time near all-time highs. If you're looking at gains in 5 years, DCA that $80,000 over the next year or so. If you're looking at 10 years, put it all in now. If you need that money for something, put it in HYSA. VTI is on sale right now. SPY QQQs. Don't overthink it. UPIX won't put pace those. AI is the best, but getting the right exposure to it is the hard part. Just owning FANGs gets you in but won't make you rich. Buy Bitcoin when it falls to the right price and sit back and wait for appreciation. Bitcoin. Obviously nobody can be sure, but Meta could pull off the VR thing in that time. Mushrooms could be legalized and be a more common medicine. Obviously, but make sure it isn't priced in too much. Robotics and 3D printing. Plenty of options if you believe in something. VTI. You have $80K. We've seen a little pullback over last few weeks. Drop $10, $15K into one of the indexes mentioned. Then do that again on another bigly red day. That 80K in cash is becoming less valuable over time. AI. It really is going to change everything. The size is that industry in 5-10 years. Oh boy. I think an excellent investment, if you're only concerned with returns after 5 years, is Intel. Small cap value. LICE. Homes are one of the things that have been outperforming the market. I'd buy in a developing area and sell in 5 years for a nice profit. Bitcoin. The halving is going to make it rally up here soon. Maybe uranium? RIVN is making great vehicles, gaining popularity among those who can afford them, cutting costs while increasing production. The stock is pretty beat down from its post-IPO highs at the moment. Lithium. We have a surplus for next 2 years. Then a deficit from 2026-2030. I'll put 100K in this bitch. And I'm going to retire on it. PTLO baby. Whatever you do, don't put it in all in once. Nothing like Forex investments income and then stocks to finance your IRA. Not easy. And it's not a fairy tale, but do work and minimum patience always pays at the end. Long duration bonds like TLT is down 50 from peak. Will guarantee you 5 return on investment if held for 15 years. Cryptocurrency. Coin, Mara, Riot, institutional dollars coming into BTC and the crypto sphere. Coinbase and any crypto-related stock will boom. Not investment advice. And only my own personal opinion. As always, DYOR. TSLA is one of the most important ones, as they are accelerating the transition to sustainable energy, especially through affordable and scalable energy storage that make wind and solar viable. Will be surprised if they are not the most valuable company on earth 10-15 years from now. Banks. My thoughts on the stock market. Disagreed with don't try to time the market and get in now. Be very careful putting money into stocks that are affected by rising interest rates. It's okay to miss out on random rallies if you miss the random crashes. Still, having your money to invest is better than trapping it for years. I am going to the supermarket and buy a bunch of canned and pickled food in 50 special offers. It depends entirely on how much 80K is to you. How much you have invested broadly for your retirement, your living expenses, job security, etc. etc. These questions are silly. Variations of this same question gets asked every day. I think a daily discussion thread would greatly benefit this sub. Broad Market Low Cost Index ETF. Gas and Tech. I've been buying and setting VU on recurring payments DCA every week for the past 2-3 years. I'm breaking even practically lol. Zhu, keep staying the course and keep DCA. Your future self will thank you. 10 years from now you will look back and wish you invested in real estate. Multifamily RE has dropped 20-30 in value over the last 12 months. There's your collapse. I understand it's hard to time. I've recently turned 18 and immediately opened up my Roth IRA, and I filled it with a bunch of dividend stocks. What companies are worth investing in now if I have just started doing this? Valuations are too stretched to sleep well with equities that are not objectively cheap. Dollar cows, dollar calf, dollar IWM, dollar VBR are the only long-term ones I'd hold right now. I don't expect the major indexes to outperform bonds. A great sub for cash is JAAA. The fund yields over 7. Every month I've been adding $1,000 to my profile. 2 shares of VU and leftovers I buy UEC. RKLB long. Thank me later.